Okay, so as you were saying, Jill, welcome to another episode of A Flash of Beauty.
Oh my gosh.
Live.
I should have paused before I hit the go
No,
live
you wanted it that way.
for anyone.
We're just having fun. It's a
Oh my
happening
gosh.
Thursday night here in Agnew, Washington. I'm
Whew.
It's good to see you, Jill.
Oh, good to see you too. Good to see
Yeah.
you too. Oh my gosh. And just for full disclosure, I'm one of those people, I will laugh until I just start crying uncontrollably. And a lot of people sometimes in public, they yeah, zoom in so everyone can. Um, Sometimes in public, I will lose it and I will
Yeah.
be in convulsions, and people are like, "Is she having a fit? Is she okay?"
Right.
And I'm trying to keep it together, and
No, when you get the giggles, then it makes me laugh and encourages me to make it worse.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
What can I say?
It's
You
good for
know,
yeah.
what can I say? It's good to have joy. It's good to find something to have fun with.
My neighbor said that laughter massages your liver. I don't know if that's true. I don't even know if that's G-rated, but massaging your liver is probably good for you. I would think,
You can do that
right? Like,
with wine
and
too, right?
right, right. Maybe that's what she was actually saying. I don't know. God bless her heart, though.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, who is here tonight? I'm just looking over at the chat.
Oh, we got the usual stuff.
Jackie,
Yeah.
Chris,
Mhm.
Brian, Ashley Stinnett, who's been like the number one. She gets the gold star for promoting our Baker City event. Ashley, thank you. She reached out to about a week ago. She's like, "Can you do a little like video or a commercial that we can share?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'll put it on my list." Well, I'm still working down my list to that. And she's just like, "I don't have time for this." And she went ahead and did an awesome video. Thank you, Ashley, for getting the word out and promoting. It's going to be a blast. If you don't have Baker City on your calendar for not this weekend but the following weekend, try to make it happen. If anything, be there Saturday, because that's when we're going to have all the presentations. There's a VIP dinner, and it's at a really awesome historic hotel that's haunted.
Yeah. Let's go down the list here, Jill. While
Oh,
you're on the subject here, Friday, March 14th, that's the day to really show up. That's the adult hour, perhaps 5 to 6, a welcome reception in the beautiful Grand Glacier. 6 to 7:45 movie screening. Flash of Beauty, Bigfoot revealed, not just any old Bigfoot reveal. 8:15 to 9:45, a movie screening for Paranormal Bigfoot. It's a double matinee.
yeah, you
Um,
know what? And you know what will be cool is if you're into this, because I'm just
they're into it.
assuming a lot of the people who are going to be there have already seen the film, but we, I mean, it'll be like Mystery Science Theater to some.
Yes.
To some level, it'll be me and Brett in the front being like, "It was raining and no one knows because
Right,
we were
right.
under
Yeah.
umbrellas," or
And I said a Grand Geyser. Geyser Grand. I'm sorry about that, folks. Geyser Grand Hotel.
it's a grand
Saturday,
hotel.
9 to 10. If boy, that's first thing in the morning for some people, but that's good. Ashley, gonna start us off here with some waffles and supernatural talk. 10:15 to 11 here. Angelique Benham, one way or another, gonna hop in there. If you haven't ever heard Angelique's story about what happened to her, I believe in her canoe or her kayak that she was in, it's a pretty incredible Bigfoot encounter. Um, you want to show up for that, of course, 11 to 12. UFOs and Aliens in Sasquatch with Jeff Roan.
Yes.
Jeff, fresh back with a tan. Jeff from Maui, bringing it to the table. I don't know if you're here with us tonight, Jeff. That's amazing. And then, of course, James Zubski. When they put there's a K. I thought it was Zubski. It says Szubki. Isn't there
Oh,
an S in there?
that's a typo. That's
Okay,
Shubsky.
gotcha. Okay. Well, we all know what we mean. We mean the Clickatat Ape Cat aficionado, and Benj in Washington will be there, home of Margie's Outdoor Post. I've sent a lot of people your way, James. Hope they bought some tchotchkes. I don't know if you're doing land tours or river tours yet, but I think that's probably something people would love if you're not doing it. Step back in time tour. Oh, it sounds like, is that like a little ghost tour or a geyser grand tour? What is that, Jill?
They do. Now I don't know if they still have the docents like dressed up in period timing and wardrobe, but yeah, it's a tour of the hotel, and they go through all the stuff. It's really awesome. It's worth doing. Like in the saloon, one of the lions, they're like these copper like lion faces. They have it hanging in there, and you can see the bullet holes from where like drunk cowboys were like shooting at it
Oh my God.
back in the days when you could just shoot at things on Main Street,
Right.
and everyone was like, "Oh, Charlie's just acting out. He means no
Uh,
harm." It was like back in that day.
yeah. Um, I've never been there before. Can't wait to see it. And I love little historical tours like that, especially when bullet holes are being described to people. I'll be doing my thing 4:15 to 5:15 about the paranormal, link to Sasquatch, and then 5:30 to 6:30, all the way down to the VIP dinner here. Brett and Jill doing their best with a wrap-up panel, and it's going to be. I don't know. We may go late that night. You never know with us. Might be a ghost hunt involved.
Ooh, ooh. There's
You don't
always
know.
something. And then we're gonna finish it off for those who haven't slept in or who haven't hit the road. Sunday morning, we'll have a mimosa toast and a little roundtable discussion with everyone. So, and this is the thing. This is what Brett and I are excited about for Baker City. Look, if you've been to the conferences where it's like packed and it's like a sea of people and you have to fight to get attention to talk to someone, this is not that. This is like an intimate gathering. Uh, I don't know what else to say, but this is
Mm.
if you want FaceTime, if you want to have an opportunity to talk and share and be heard, this is a good opportunity.
And coming in fresh here from Ashley, lunar eclipse as well.
That's right. That's
That's kind of a
right.
big deal. So bring your camera equipment too, right? I mean, that's a big deal. Okay,
Thanks,
nice.
Ebot.
Brett, I hope you get the joke here. We both spelled our name backward. Jill, I don't know what yours would be. It's way too red room for me to try to pronounce it like that. Uh,
Good stuff. Good stuff.
now, as far as the itinerary is concerned, I did um, do a little bit of screen grabbing here. This weekend's kickoff on Friday night, welcome reception, 2 movie screenings. We went over that. Of course, Paranormal Bigfoot and the welcome reception. We got into that there. Okay, good. So we went through what we needed to with the grand. Any updates on that at all that we need to know about? What is the rough travel time from Portland to Baker City?
I do know from Portland, it's quicker to get to Vancouver, BC, or get to the Canadian border than to Baker City. Brett, have Brett chime in. I want to say it's maybe 4.5, 5 hours, 4.5 hours. That sounds right. I mean, you're just cruising along the Columbia Gorge, and it's a beautiful drive. If you have not experienced driving the Columbia Gorge, highly recommend it.
So that's the best route to go.
I think so. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
that's because you're going by Multnomah Falls, you're going through the Dells, you're going through Hood River, you're going through vast open prairies,
Yeah.
by Pendleton.
I
Stop
wonder if
by
I
to
would behoove
Blanket.
me to go that way or to come through Yakima. I'll have to look into it and drop down from Yakima.
I mean, considering
Might work.
weather, considering commute, I would
Mm.
just say just whatever works. If you have time,
Yeah.
go wild and take the back roads, but otherwise, just hop on I-84 and cruise
There
on
you go.
over.
Jenny, you're saying 7 to 8 from Whidbey, and she's seriously considering it. Who knows what will happen with Miss Larson?
Oh, I believe Jenny Larson is going to be there. Jenny,
Yeah,
Jenny.
she just might do it, folks. You never know. Um, well, in the rest of the world, any updates that you want to give, Jill, before I start yapping away?
Yes, yes. So, a lot of people. So, okay, after Tara's interview came out and we had her on the podcast and a guest on the live stream, I was basically doing double time as Tara's personal assistant with all these people contacting either with questions or wanting to book a reading or just needing to talk to her. And we finally we got her as an email set up so people could connect with this email directly instead of going through me. And a lot of people have been reaching out asking about Tim Kunbo Baker, people who want to talk to him, have questions for him, uh, just want to talk about their research or compare notes. And I've been trying to get a hold of Tim uh, ever, like even before his interview went live, and I just could not connect with him, and I was getting a little bit concerned. And the other night I hopped on, had a quick call with him, and when I say a quick call, I mean 2 hours, because I don't think there's such a thing as a short conversation with Kunbo. He has so much to say, and I was captivated the whole time. But I told him, I'm like, what do we do about all these people who want to talk to you? Because I don't want to give out your personal information and I don't want to leave them hanging. And he thought about it and he's like, you know what? We should probably set up an email for me that's separate so that he can connect with people. So everyone stay tuned. Once we get that information from Tim, we will let everyone know and we'll redirect you his way. So hopefully your questions can get answered.
Okay, an update from Kumbo. We'll have to have a one-on-one with that guy here and dig into some of the nitty-gritty.
And there's one more thing. One more thing I just want to float that Brett and we just talked about. And we have a lot of people we notice like in the chats or who post or contact us directly who are from Australia. And let's be honest, we get reports of all this activity going on with the Yowies in Australia. And so Brett and I were just kind of floating the idea, back and forth, like, does a flash of beauty need to make a trip down under? So we just wanted to kind of float that out there, feel it out, see how people responded, see if that's something that people want. And I'm not saying it would happen tomorrow or in a month or two. I mean, obviously this would take some planning and we'd have to do some serious fundraising, but just want to put that out there. Let us know what you think. Is it something we should wrap our heads around and pursue?
I think so. I mean, it's the birthplace of Andy Gibb, Olivia Newton-John, and the Yowie. Of course, you need to go there. I've only been once when I was in the service, and it was delightful. If I could have somehow found orders, I don't think there's any U.S. naval bases per se in Australia, but they're huge allies, and so they're very friendly to Westerners, and even more so the older they get. And so I could only imagine that would be a dream vacation. Of course, everything kills you in the bush. And Jill, you're really good in the bush. So I don't know. Are you going to be okay in the backcountry in Australia?
I think that was a compliment. I'm not
Yes,
sure. It
it
sounded really
was.
weird. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Look, it's not me. I can handle myself.
Yeah.
It's Brett I'm worried about.
Yes.
There are snakes and there are bugs and creepy
Yeah.
crawlies in
Yeah.
Australia. And I know Mike's been there. He used to film a travel show, and he's done some traveling and filming in Australia. So we might have to lean on him for some guidance, but yeah, and
It's
that in the
I don't
water. I mean, they've got the
Mhm.
crocodiles, and I don't know how many episodes of Shark Week I've seen that take place with like children like in the river and all the sharks come upstream and
Yeah,
attack. So danger makes for good film.
absolutely, and
But
there's some
what
genuine
can I
mystery
say?
there. Yeah, well, and if you're I mean, the Tasmanian tiger is extremely interesting to me, the thylacine, the fact that I think that that thing is still out there. There's one man in particular that has spent his whole life looking into it with the thylacine protection program. I forget the actual acronym for that, but incredible stuff that is rumored to still exist. It's so vast um, out that way. So, I mean, just like this is so vast, but the Yowie's a whole different thing, right? Like this is different proportions, same behavior, same phenomena probably, but you don't hear a lot of like supernatural encounters when it comes to Bigfoot in Australia. I haven't.
Tope,
You
I'm
got
gonna
some
stop
fresh
you right
ones?
there.
Okay.
There is, and I know because one of our listeners sent Brett footage.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah,
good. I know that it's a UFO hotspot for sure and a Yowie hotspot. In fact, one of the UFO bases there's 5 UFO bases, and one of them you guys didn't know that there's only 5, but one of
no.
them I think is in Australia somewhere, according to Elizondo. But should we talk a little bit about that? What's going on at McMinnville real quick here, just to tell folks?
Yes, everyone should know this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So you found out. I didn't know. So you go ahead.
Okay. So McMinnville, Oregon, UFO sighting central, I guess. Isn't that like where they had
The
the famous
first, I think
photo?
the first photo. Yeah.
Yeah. So the McMinimans pub brewery, they put on a huge UFO festival every year, and it is incredible. They do a parade. They have the best speakers ever. And I can back that up with the lineup for this year features George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell, um, Louise, I'm going to mispronounce his name.
Elizondo.
Yes. And many more. So it's definitely like a powerhouse lineup, but it's just
Mhm.
a fun, good time. I mean, even Tobe, when we were there as vendors and we were doing our whole like Bigfoot like carny thing to, like carnival barkers to get people to come over and pay attention. I mean, that was incredible. Like how many people were sharing their stories like, well, I never talk about it and this is a UFO
Mhm.
festival, but
Yeah. No,
yeah.
we had a great time. The turnout is I mean, it's like well over 20,000 people show up for this parade. I think it's the largest UFO parade. And McMinimans puts it on in McMinnville, which is this cool kind of historic 1950s looking old town kind of vibe. And then
It's a
there's
Main Street town. It's
yeah, it's
like
a
a
Main
Main
Street
Street
town. Like
America.
they've got a bronze Ben Franklin sitting on a park bench, that kind of deal. And there's like one bank, and then there's just like these cool old streets, and then they just close it down and say, no, we're only UFOs from Friday to Saturday or Friday to Sunday or something like that. And so you don't really need a ticket to even go. Like if you want to go see Nap, if you want to go to the beer garden, if you want to stay and do the costume party, yeah. But like you can walk into the hotel and sit at the bar next to Travis Walton like I did. Like the first time I went there, there's Travis Walton just sitting there at the bar right next to me. And it's just like it's total access. Like it's so much fun because everybody's there in costume, like really cool costumes, like the best Captain Spock or what is it, Captain Spock that I've ever seen was there, like a dead ringer for Leonard Nimoy.
Now the best sighting you had when we were there was
Right.
John McAfee.
Yeah. No,
John
people don't
McAfee
have
sighting.
nobody knows who John McAfee is except maybe like 5 people. But if you knew that John McAfee was and that I saw him, then you'd be like, "You did?" And I'd be like, "He's not dead." So yeah, he was such a dead ringer that I swear it was him.
Didn't you pull up a picture of John
I
McAfee on your phone and
yeah.
you're like, "This is you." And you're
Yeah,
like,
I'm
"Oh
such an
crap, it's me."
I can do such cringy stuff to people. Just like, "No, you must admit it." I don't give up.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Oh, it's been a
Yeah.
long day.
And now that I've got a GoPro in my hand everywhere, it's gonna be even worse for people. Because here I come. Here, tell it to me now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We're
Hmm.
just in search of answers. We just want the truth.
Captain Spock, yes. That's right.
Oh
Yeah, no,
my
there's
gosh.
some really good there's a lot of men in black that show up. That's a very easy costume to pull off, obviously. It can be kinda warm that time of year, mid-May, I believe is when it's happening,
Yeah.
and, but it can also be rainy. So, you don't wanna put on, like, the green paint necessarily. You may want to, come in something McAfee style, maybe that's it.
Hawaiian
But
shirt and Bermudas and
right, yeah. But the parade is really cool just to see all the work that these guys have done on their costumes but if you can show up and hear it's a pretty good venue, like, it's a stadium seating kind of arrangement with a main stage. It's where Fravor spoke, it's where Bob Lazar spoke, it's where the kids from the African school that had the sighting spoke. It's where a
Mhm.
lot of people have come to speak there that have, had incredible encounters. Whitley Strieber's been there. We went, pretty much everybody who's into UFOs has been there. Now, is Flash of Beauty going to be on the stage with them eventually talking about, the furry alien, the alien of a furry kind? I don't know. I mean, I think that it's appropriate that eventually a Flash of Beauty get a shot at McMinnville festivals like this. And so there's something maybe possible happening in the background here down the road with the McMinimans and a
Yeah.
Flash of Beauty. So we'll flush that out, but not this year.
No, not this year. We'll see how we have to, just like when we were making a Flash of Beauty, we just have to see how everything unfolds.
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time. So, I will jump off my soapbox and turn it over to you because you have quite a presentation
Oh my gosh. Well,
prepared for the listeners.
I just thought it would be fun to go through some of the highlight reel. I've been in bed for like the last 6 days here, so I've had plenty of time to go through doom scrolling at odd hours. When you have the flu, 3 in the morning seems like 2 in the afternoon, and so I've had a lot of those little moments here with my Vicks Vapor Rub on my chest, and here I am. And one of the things that popped up, I don't know if it popped up for you, Renee, or Brian, or Chris, or Jackie, or Mark, but it popped up on my feed, and it was little old BFRO shooting some videos or showing some video from Maine regarding these Bigfoot tracks. So I just wanted to show you this, Jill, and everybody else here. I don't know if anybody got a chance to see this video. It's pretty impressive. It's a really good, nice phone.
Looks like deep snow.
Some older tracks. But look at see, I mean, let me pause it
Yeah.
right there. I mean, they're in line. They look like they're better part of 5 to 6 feet apart from the toe to the heel, and they're weaving through the trees here. The one thing though that I'll hit play again here, and I think what's really interesting is that the sticks at about 2 to 3 feet up aren't broken. And the tracks are going right by these branches that are hanging out over the tracks and they're attached. So let's look at those. See those right there? See how those
Yeah.
tracks are going right past these limbs that are still attached?
Hmm.
That doesn't bother me. I think that's I mean, I think that's what they can do. So,
Or they could have
um,
ducked.
what's that?
They could have ducked down.
They could have ducked down, maybe. I think they,
I doubt it.
I think we got something cloaking here if it's legit and it's showing more than cloaking going on. This is why it's not just cloaking. People that think that they have this polar bear theory where, the hair guards are basically translucent and they're guiding light through it like a what is that called, Brett? A microfiber fiber optic. I don't think that's what's going on here. In Barb's case, she caught something on video that is doing the Predator. It's befuddled the likes of Oscar Award winner and beyond. But now this is pretty interesting because if let's say that the track maker was a Bigfoot here, right? It has a 6 foot span between, and it's going, gone, and it's not breaking these limbs here, at least from what we can tell. If those limbs are still attached, this thing I would imagine is over 4 feet tall. um, and it's not breaking all these branches here. It's probably over 2.5 feet wide. So over 4 feet tall, over 2.5 feet wide, and these branches are still attached here. I think that's any comment on that at all in the chat or Jill, and on why that would be? Does that raise any red flags for the girls and boys at home?
Well, I would be questioning whether, but if there were alternate tracks paralleling, you would see them because they'd be about the same where, they'd be
Say that
going down.
again.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if someone were like, I'm not even gonna say it because it's ridiculous. If like someone was walking along and had like a little footprint thing they were trying to do, you would see that
Oh,
like
like
the
a stomper.
yeah.
Yeah, so
You
where's the
know,
stomper? Yeah.
I think about when Henry Franzoni, took that report from there was like multiple sightings, multiple reports of people who witnessed some Bigfoot out in the snow, and there were tracks that disappeared. So if they can just stop with
Yeah.
the tracks and keep going, I'm sure they can work their way around some branches. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's the least of their concerns.
Yeah, and I think it just, it could show, um, evidence of them using something more than cloaking in order to go through a solid object.
So, can you humor me? Some I just lost who said it. Someone in the chat asked you to rewind the video slightly. They thought the tracks were too close to the tree. I guess given the size.
Okay, here we go.
I wish they would have like put down a ruler or like a pop can or something just so we have an idea of like how big these trees are or what the stride is.
Now there, it's pretty close. And look how many branches are hanging out over that thing. Every one of those branches is hanging out. So I would think that most apers would look at that and go, well, no, that's got to be a hoax. And I don't know how they did it in the snow like that, unless they're on a zip line and they hammered it out like that somehow. But
That
I
sounds
don't
like a
know.
lot of work.
I agree. I agree. Chris Burner said stop right there. So Chris, what do you think, man? Well, he's coming up with a conclusion there. I will say that there is a way to preserve tracks like that. I don't know if anybody knows
Oh,
that you
interesting.
can actually buy prep wax, but for $25, a company called Searchy, um, all you got to do is spray the impression and then pour some Hydrostone or Hydrocal. Probably don't use plaster, especially on that cold temperature. And you could probably use Aquanet or hairspray in a pinch, but this stuff is made for it. And here's a little example. I don't know what that why he's pouring mustard on it, but or some kind of yellow gravy. I don't know what that substance is, but good
Delicious.
for him. It's got to be Europe. um, anyway, so it's not the only place that this has happened, by the way. My buddy Paul Graves, Bigfooter up in Wenatchee, 2017, got a report with Bindernagel regarding what are called the Sunny Slope tracks. And I don't know how long this went, but I know it went over a half a mile through that orchard, and they were all 4.5 to 6 feet and width.
Mm.
So a half a mile. I think he just lost track. He couldn't. It would just kept going and going and going. Um, but look at the size of these things here. Like,
Oh,
yeah, these are better part of. I don't know the exact. I know how big Paul is, and I'm thinking that that's probably about a size 18 to 22-inch track, probably bigger. Maybe it's about 9 inches wide there.
mm.
And so you can find that video too online, the Sunny Slope trackway with Paul Graves. But anyway, we'll look at it one more time here.
And I just want to say, Shade Viking, thank you so much. That's very generous, and we appreciate it greatly.
Yeah, so could those be snowshoes? Um, I don't know. I've never ran in snowshoes like that.
It would
It,
be
it seemed
hard to
like
keep
pretty
up.
hard.
Yeah, and keep up your momentum to keep that span without dragging your feet.
Yeah, I don't know. I did want to talk a little bit about this area that I've been going into. Last week, we played a sound from an area that I call the staircase to nowhere, right? This is
Mhm.
supposedly where Teddy Roosevelt stayed in a cabin that's no longer there. All that's left is a staircase. Um, I just got done shooting a video out that way with a guy named David, who you'll meet next week on Olympic Strange Days. So we were just out there today. We had some interesting stuff happen in the last 7 days before I got sick. And so it was a beautiful day out here. It was actually like 62 degrees and sunny and just gorgeous today. So I was feeling good enough. I grabbed the dog. We went out to this prairie and we started to find what is kind of interesting stick sign here.
Mm.
Now, what you're seeing is 1, 2, 3, and there's a fourth one you can't really see that's broken, but 3 or 4 sticks shoved into the remote field there off to the side of a game trail. And I just want to know if anybody online has ever seen sticks plunged into the ground before as typical Bigfoot sign. We have, and sometimes they're pretty inexplicable sticks because of the depth and how fragile the sticks are sometimes for the depth they've gone into. Have you ever seen that before, Jill?
I mean, at the Almoon lab up in the woods there,
You
yes,
did? Okay.
with
Yeah.
the sticks driven in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in a row next to a game trail, the most likely answer here is that maybe somebody came in and just shoved some sticks in the ground. It's easy to do. It was wet. Maybe somebody was shooting at them. Maybe they put a target up here and took the targets and left the sticks. I don't know. I didn't see any sign of that happening there, but pretty interesting. And we're gonna check back on it this weekend here. Actually, stay the night up near this haunted cabin where we found this as well. And I don't think anybody's seen this yet here. Now, this
Hmm.
is lidar of a size 13.5-inch left footprint that was found by my buddy Dave at this cabin that has interesting stuff happen to it. We showed you the strange prints on, or the finger smears on the back of the truck last week, but what I didn't show you is the lidar scan we found. I don't know. Can you guys see that at all? There, can you see
Yeah, there's a footprint.
the potential where the toes are? The pinky toe is out there on the far left. And so, of course, if you have an iPhone 13 or better, you have a much better LiDAR camera than I do. and anybody can do this. You just go into your app store and download it, and there's no reason that we shouldn't all have lidar on our phones now. It's a lot of fun when you practice it. You can scan your face, you can scan anything, and just practice away. But that was pretty bizarro, I thought, to see that. Now, to go back to the story, Jill, let me bring you over here. What I didn't understand last time we spoke about this cabin was the full extent of what happened when they these two men, Mitch and Kevin Carney. Kevin will be speaking along with Sandy at Olympic Strange Days in October. Married couple, Bigfooters, retired, and Mitch Matra, photographer, videographer from Port Townsend, Washington. Mitch and Kevin are smoking on the deck a couple of cigars to the wee hours, and they start hearing these clicking sounds. And what Kevin described as almost kind of like a wet frog sound. That's what he said. And it was behind the pickup truck. Now, he had already seen a Sasquatch behind his pickup truck in previous times at the exact same cabin. So they were wondering if that's what was happening again. And so they sat there and kind of communicated with the phenomena. What I found out is that the truck attempted to start as though something was messing with the solenoid in order to activate the engine. And it did it 3 or 4 different times. He could hear it actually start to engage. Now, a car will make a sound like that if it's, cooling off or something like that, but that truck had been sitting there for over 2 or 3 hours, and so it didn't make a lot of sense. It's a mystery, but it did remind me of what Henry Franzoni said about things like his starter engine, right, getting blown in Tillamook by a Sasquatch. We've heard this time and time again about electronic anomalies, even with automobiles. But I never heard of one pulling a Herbie and Love Bug, starting up or something like that.
That could have been, now, had things played out as they were starting to, that could have been like one of the first witness accounts of like a Sasquatch carjacking. It'd be like, it's like Grand Theft Auto Sasquatch edition. So
That's really good, Jill. I like that.
thank you. I've been
Yeah.
I was waiting for a moment to spice things up. And hey, I just want to say also, just because I don't want to interrupt, but Renee Drew, thank you for your support. And also Jackie Barnes gifting memberships. Thank you so much. It's super generous and we really appreciate it.
Oh, that's nice. You guys are so loving. So loving.
Big hugs. Big hugs.
Well, I want to thank again Brett and Jill for allowing me to mess around with my GoPro and film some things. We're trying to do better shows each and every week for everybody, and one's about ready to get released tomorrow for the public, but for the members, they got a little taste of Olympic Strange Days latest ops, and that is brought to you by the Olympic Peninsula Paranormal Society out here, where I got to interview some guests in a pretty notorious house in the town of Port Gamble. It's right off of a Stephen King lot for sure. This is the Walker Ames house. Jill, have you ever been in?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's amazing. It stands out for sure when you pull into town. And here's my last picture before they took me alive in there. I actually, if you look to the right of my hair, there's that top window. That would be the creepy attic where the children's toys are. And actually stayed the night there by myself once, if you believe it or not.
Oh, and
Yeah,
and
no activity. None. Not for me up there.
now
But go ahead.
let me ask, because when you say, oh, creepy attic with children's toys, now was that a situation where they were historically left there and there's activity, or did the new owners stage things there, and it's just really creepy by happenstance.
Yeah,
What's
trigger
the
objects,
background?
Jill, trigger objects.
Okay.
Yeah. So they, it's such a well-known haunt that, the proprietor, the town manager of Port Gamble is Pete Orbea, and he also goes by Paranormal Pete. Pete is, puts on the Ghost Conference in Port Gamble, Washington. He'll actually be along with, a lot of other people down in your neck of the woods, right? In, Astoria for the Ghost Conference or Seaside,
And
uh,
Seaside, yeah, that's
Ghost
coming up
Conference.
too.
Yeah. So, look up the, Port Gamble Ghost Conference and Pete Orbea. He was nice enough to open up the Walker Ames house for me to interview, Mary Bethune. And so Mary Bethune was one of the co-founders of the Olympic Peninsula Paranormal Society, and, she gets the feels, right? Like, she's a sensitive and, doesn't necessarily need ghost equipment in order to, tell what's going on. And so stuff started to happen as soon as I came into the house to the point where we just kinda had to, like, cut scene and go to the action, which is always fun, right? Like, if it's not
Yeah.
planned out, it seems way more authentic, and, that's what we're trying to pull off here. So, here we are in the creepy attic here. This is after some time of us, walking around for I think we had the place to ourselves for a couple hours. Um, Pete Orbea can't always, give a full guided tour, but he doesn't need to because, Mary Bethune knows what's going on there, so she was nice enough to show us around, and, so that's exactly what she did, and we had a great time, and I wanted to thank her for it, and that episode will air tomorrow. I won't give away all the stuff that happened in there, but what I will say is that, here's a little teaser, for the folks. It's not all about Ghost, and, there's some surprising tidbits. In fact, in my videos, there's little Easter eggs. Once in a while, there will be, and you just have to find them towards the end. So if it looks like the time hasn't run out yet, it's probably because it hasn't yet. We get into all things mantid in this one, and Mary Bethune, of all people, has a mantid story. What do you
Wow.
think, Jill, of the praying mantis phenomena? Where are you at with it?
I believe it.
Do you?
I okay, so this is a little off topic from Bigfoot, but maybe not because there's a lot of mysteries in the world in our universe that we have no idea how they work or any concept of how to understand them fully. We just have our little 3D experience, what we see, but why not? I mean, prove to me otherwise. And
Have
there's
you
enough
ever
reports and
Yeah, I mean, we've been in Bigfoot areas before and taken praying mantis. At least I have. I kind of gave something away just now, but sometimes when I'm in Bigfoot areas, I'm surprised at what people actually have to say to me. And this is one of the things that they did have to say to me, to the point where this phenomena refuses to go away. It seems to kind of be picking up steam with the mantids. Um, but it's a bridge too far for most people, and I can understand maybe why.
well, and also I think, and how do I phrase this? It's important to meet people where they are. Yes, it's good to, you got to get out of your comfort zone and take in new information. And sometimes that can be a little rough, but for the most part, it's kind of, we've tried to hold people's hands and guide them gently through these conversations instead of just, like holding their head down in the water and bringing them up for air and like, here's more crazy stuff that you were not prepared for, and
Right.
letting
Yeah.
them come up to breathe. And even James Shupsky's talked about, he's had reports of I think it was one of his employees was driving in
Mhm.
and there was like a mantis mantid style humanoid type thing along the road. And
Yeah, the guy said he thought it was a camera tripod because it was so skinny and weirdly shaped. He's just like,
Yeah,
why would someone leave a camera tripod on the side of the highway?
yeah. So, I mean, the way I see it is, and I can say this with confidence just because I've started referring to myself as a Sasquatch social worker because of the emails we receive, how some people just, it's not always Sasquatch. It's things were like, I was in a
Mhm,
Bigfoot area. Yes, I had a footprint or I heard wood knocks, but that's not what I want to talk to you about. Something else happened that I wasn't prepared for, and I don't know what to make of it. And it falls into that whole silo of other.
mhm,
And there's a lot of people experiencing the other stuff. And I just think that there's, again, like what we're trying to do with Bigfoot is start like removing the stigma. Let's have these conversations and normalize it, because how often, like in the chats of from videos we post, does someone say, "Oh my gosh, like I needed that piece of information and here's something I've been like I experienced." And other people, it's kind of like a buffet of
mhm.
information, and you can take what you need and, leave behind what doesn't work for you. But I just
Yeah.
think we need to keep having these conversations and getting out of
Mhm.
our comfort zone.
Well, so these Bigfoot hotspots are openings for peripheral issues where the veil's thin, and this other phenomena is too, right? This is why you see dead people in Bigfoot areas. This is why you see strange yellow boxes of light and everything in between, right? It's the Mos Eisley bar. And so this is part of the phenomena as far as I'm concerned. Um, and maybe the more we talk about it, the more it shows itself. I don't know. But that'll be premiering tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And it should be a lot of fun for the kids. I did want to mention Jack Sack. Oh, Jack from A Flash of Beauty Paranormal Bigfoot. You know Jack Sack. He's the one in the overalls that just can't say no to a good time with a cloaking deer or a shape-shifting deer into a Bigfoot. Well, Jack Sack made me a gift, and I've shown it once before, and I'm gonna show it again because this is the antlers and some epoxied arrowheads. I don't know if this is from his fresh kill or not, but he also made me this beautiful peace pipe here. So it's a 2 for 1 from Jack. I don't know if you're listening, Jack, or not, but it's a beautiful museum quality, I
Mhm.
guess what I would call spirit tool.
Yeah.
And I haven't utilized it. It is fully functional for sure. Um, but let's talk about this gift here for a second, Jack.
Yeah.
Um, so the first thing that happened, Jack, when I got this gift is I set it here. Oh, here it is. I set it on my computer desk, kind of just where I have it right now, along with the antlers. And I noticed that the next day, maybe totally unrelated, that my computer surge protector was flipped off. So there's like a glow button, and this isn't like your dollar store surge protector. This is like a $80 high quality surge protector. And so the button was turned off. So I thought maybe Cooper did it. It's possible. It was up pretty high, but he could have done it. So I put the surge protector up higher and turned it back on. And then my computer had to reload. Sometimes I just leave it on. Well, the second day, the surge protector got turned off again. So I went and asked Aaron, I said, is this a power issue? What's going on? Like, do I need to turn it off every night? What are we doing here? Kind of irritated now. Like, what's going on? Wasn't her. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I started thinking, just like, well, it wasn't Cooper. It wasn't Aaron. It wasn't me. Someone's turning my surge protector off. I don't think it's shorting out. And so I was thinking, like, do I have any new objects? Well, I thought maybe, you know, Jill, Brett, you had this in your house for a while, and you didn't have any incidents. Is that right?
Well,
Oh shoot. What are you doing to me? Really?
Hocus pocus. No, so that's an open-ended question because we did not experience anything out of the norm at our house.
Okay.
But weird things happen here. So
Oh, yeah, beyond this though.
yeah. So
Nothing directional.
I can't think of. I mean, what we picked it up at the Yakima Bigfoot conference. It was in our house until what kind of just recently when we gave it
Well,
to
yeah, we dropped it off in
Watch
Longview,
Fest.
and I
Yeah.
picked it up there, but you didn't have anything happen to the point where you were, having your stuff turned off or messed with, and that's true, right?
That is correct. There was
Okay.
nothing that would have made us. It wasn't like when they found the tiki thing on the Brady Bunch. If
Right,
that's what
right, right, right.
you're
Yeah.
insinuating, like
And I wasn't sure if this was the case. So what I did is I bought a dictaphone. I lost my old one, and I put this in the fruit cellar down the way here outside. And it's just a locked up cement room, right? There's no way to get in and out except through one door. There's no rodents in there because it's just all a cement wall. There's no access point for a rodent to get into. And so I got some audio here I want to play. And it was reminiscent of other audio I've gotten before with haunted objects or objects that are imbued or have an attachment with them. So let me play this. See if this will play. It's going to loop over and over. Now there you can hear the 2x4 kind of roll back and forth, or a piece of wood. So I thought that was interesting. And then it did it again an hour later. I'll play that one.
was anything out of the ordinary? Like were things moved around?
No, nothing moved around. But it did remind me a little bit of Daryl's house. And those were the kind of initial sounds that we talked about, just objects moving that weren't moving, and which is so often the case with a haunting or a poltergeist here. So what I wonder is if this object it isn't have some kind of Bigfoot juice on it or something here, because it reminds me of the good old days. Jack, I think.
Well, okay, so maybe I have withheld some
Wait,
information.
here we go.
So,
Okay,
you know,
go ahead. I'm gonna have a moment here.
so on the holder where the antlers are,
Yes.
there's the arrowheads, and there are also some stones arranged
Oh, you mean on the antler
on the where
spike? Yes.
where the antlers are.
Yes.
So Jack gave us a bag of those rocks, and I have
Yeah.
no reason not to believe him. He hands me the bag. He looks at me. He's like, "These are from the Stick Indians." He's like, he of course, just like typical. He hands them to me, so they're now in my possession. And he's like, "These were the Stick Indians were using them and stuff." And I don't know if you can tell on those rocks, but the ones he gave us, they all have these like little grooves like notched into them. Almost like he's like, yeah, for tools and stuff. And so there are weird like notches and cuttings
Here
on
we
the
go.
stones. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see them on those, but that's where he said they came from, and he's got all sorts of activity in his area. I have no reason not to believe him because
Let's see if we can
He's
grow it
Jack
up here.
Sack.
He is Jack Sack. He eat no fat. Um, wow. Okay, so these might be stick Indian gifts.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack. This is gonna be a good time for T-Dog. All right, so I wanna up my game here. I may sleep in the fruit cellar tonight. See if I can get one of these little gems to roll around on my bed. Um,
Well, Tobe, okay, so now that I know this, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna match your activity. I'm gonna get out the bag of the bag of rocks that Jack gave me, and
okay.
I'm gonna put them out tonight. I will put them
Oh,
out and I'll give them a talking to. I'll be like,
okay.
okay, you
Nice.
guys,
Now,
showtime.
somebody wrote, "Why aren't there Bigfoot in Hawaii?" And I was hoping that was like the beginning of a good joke. But Hawaii be about, you've got Mini Hooney. You've got better things going on. And if you've never been to the Mini Hooney Wall, um, there's all sorts of, I believe, irrigation systems and walls that the Mini Hooney supposedly built in a night. And by the way, Jill, Mini Hooney are not the night marchers, just so you know.
Are they the little helpful ones? When I was a little kid, my parents went on a vacation to
Mhm.
Hawaii, and they brought back this children's book of like Hawaiian, like, I'm not going to say mythology or folk legends. I'll say Hawaiian oral traditions or oral history. But it talks about, yeah, there was like they came out and like helped build bridges at night.
Right. Yeah, they were kind of like they're like little elves, right? They're like little builders. That's the only way to say it. They built stuff. They built walls. They're like little wall builders and dam builders and irrigation builders. And I
So
don't,
look, let's
and
cut
they're
to the
real.
chase. Does there need to be a flash of beauty, Hawaii? Do we need to
Yeah,
go to
I
Hawaii?
see your angle. Every place is a tropical location, folks. I'm feeling like there really needs to be a flash of beauty somewhere in Jamaica, Mon. Jamaica, Mon, flash of beauty. Yeah, man.
Oh,
That skunky man.
oh my gosh. Okay. So wait, Renee Drew, Maui skunk ape, Google it. Okay. We need to do a deep dive. Yeah, because
Maui skunk ape.
we've been hearing conflicting things about Bigfoot in Hawaii. So, oh,
Yeah.
you know who we should reach out to?
What's that?
Who's on the Big Island?
A
Kaylee.
jet.
Kaylee from Phenomicon. Who
Oh,
who she did this last year, she did the not the
I didn't know that.
she did the like out the desert contact thing
Oh,
with
nice.
Ryan.
Oh, cool.
So mental note, I will reach out to her.
Nice.
Get to the bottom of this.
Let's go back to this here before we go. If you haven't got your tickets yet, now's your time to do it. I think at Eventbrite, or you can just go to Geyser Grand Hotel. Come on, join us out there. It's going to be a good time. Um, we're even more fun after the sun goes down. So it's going to be a good time out in the middle of the desert. Like, I love the forest. I love the mountains, y'all. But it's a different kind of love affair between me and the high desert. So I'm excited to make it happen, Jill.
You know what? And not far from Baker City, from the Geyser Grand, is the Oregon Interpretive Center, and you can see the wagon ruts from the Oregon Trail, which
Oh,
is super cool if you haven't seen that before. Oh,
nice.
that's where they came in and where
And
the
I think
wagons
there's
went.
a desert hot spring. I saw something about like a really well-known, like cool hot spring situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now there's two of them. There's one that is totally like, I want to say it's in La Grande. This reinvented itself and it's
Okay.
open. Brett and I actually stopped in there, but I want to say there's another place, like a medical hot springs type place that's kind of, last I heard, it was closed down, off limits.
Oh, maybe that's the one I saw.
So you know something good is happening if it's off limits.
Yeah,
Uh,
right. Meh, meh.
yeah, but there's all sorts of cool stuff out there in Eastern Oregon, so.
Okay. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for joining us tonight. Jill, any final closing thoughts on your end?
Final closing thoughts other than episode 3 of Olympic Strange Days going live tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I just wanna float that idea again because I saw some other people in the chat tuning in from Australia. We're just kind of floating this idea. Do we need to start doing some trip planning to come down and look for yowies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
I mean,
want to plant
that's
that seed.
there we go. Down under. Flash of Beauty down under. I love it. All right, guys. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you, I guess, here next week, right?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Hang out after the show and we'll talk some business. See you
Okay,
folks
thanks
later.
everyone. Thank you for
Thank
tuning
you.
in, all your generosity.